This one is for my lovely 5D mystics with the energies about. I'm trying to contemplate how to share with y'all. It's important what conversations we create. It's important what relationships you build. And it's important that you maintain that self-regulation, and that's with yourself, with humanity, and with the tomorrow. And that's where the 4D differs, as well as anybody who is actually choosing to battle our own species. When people talk about the system and people with conspiracies and with stories and with statements that put against, it's not helpful. This doesn't create an environment of safety. And the 5D mystic is different again than the 4D, not because there's anyone who's more special. 5D is oneness consciousness. One way, shape, or form, what leads you is to support the entire human race, not just one group. You're led by all-inclusiveness. This calls to you. 4D exists for people who are not called to be all-inclusive. So when they see something like all people are good, they're going to be like, no, they're not. My energy changed because, yeah, they're... So leave it alone. Leave it alone, because we don't need to be in their state of consciousness. And they don't want to learn about being human. They might be enamored with their own selves. Look at culty cults. And look at how many people follow the culty cult leader. Look at traditional cults and how many people follow traditional cults. So this is about independent, emotional, and mental individuals. It's a human trait. People don't know how they're made because they don't know about the good, recently, finally aggregated, because it's recent. I was a teenager growing up. There were none of the somatic, sensory-motor, trauma experts. I only had a basic psychology, which I said, we all have an ego. Makes sense to me. This is why the inner growth mindset is so basic, because you don't need to do anything different than work with your left and right mode, which means your thoughts and the sensations that come up. And that's straightforward for people who are love buttons, which is why when we hear somebody saying, if you're going to treat someone like shit, they don't say that, the energy is going to change. It makes me think of somebody who's just loving to get something. And see, love is free. Love is our nature. However, it is the nature for those of us who have a restorative embodied self experience. So we had, it's okay, all is going to be okay in our little infant body, and others didn't. And then there's also our drivers that also bring in an impact to your personality. So 5D inclined person, one is going to love to be a human and not think of humanity as evil or as a villain, independently from all of the corruption. And here's where I'll share, as a political science major and an international relations and diplomacy master's, so my graduate years, I did a paper on power corrupts because of those statements that people make about power corrupting, power corrupting. And what I uncovered was that power was one of the elements that corrupted, but really my case studies, and it was qualitative, which I got criticized for because some people find quantitative data more valuable than qualitative because you can prove it. And I find that humorous because in the years and years of moving forward, we're going to have quantitative data be disproved. Although a lot of people who like to say, but it's, solid, they don't understand what it means to know it's not solid. It can be repeated. So of course, let's go with that which has been proven empirically as one of the Cosmos episodes. It's you want to stay grounded, which is where we don't. We see 4D not staying grounded in any way, shape, or form. And they're all over every single one of the stories that has been brought forth by esoteric, metaphysics, all the stories in the spiritual group. And that's where there's a difference. You got 4D people who are interested in learning about demons and bringing people up or not bringing people up. I mean, there's one person, I forget what they were writing, and they're creating a story, and they are basically putting the human being below the star beings and saying that it's just everything is, oh, I'm not good enough. Something else is going to have the properties that make me good enough. That's the adaptive child who has the inner child, who has the attachment system longing to be seen. Mommy, mommy, daddy, daddy, see me. This is an instinct of an infant body that needs to live, survival. Please see me. When a kid's crying, they're not crying for the heck of it. Their body is going, their nervous system is actively seeking to attach. This is the part where people don't understand because they didn't learn about it. I just did, and again, this was not available at my bachelor's or when I was in school. When you are seen and you're soothed, that's attunement. You get a third of it, and then you get repair for rupture. You're going to feel safe to be yourself and secure. Otherwise, you're going to have a defectiveness, shame, heartbreak, and that ain't fun. So people who don't believe in the human race, there's a lot of them, and they all don't know wholeness. And they sensationalize because their relationship is, I can transfer what I have envisioned, and what it's a whole way of life. So let me leave it alone. That's why we have 4D influencers and other educators. Some people are going to consistently stay there. It's not of any existential consequence because the leaders, this is where scientific methodology, and as a student, this is what I'm like, wow, okay, thank goodness. Once I saw these 5D educators, I'm like, okay, now I know where we're at. The woo-woo people, you're good. We're all good because I'm a woo-woo person myself. I'm a pseudoscience lady. I'm great with that. And we have a relationship. I love the relationship with the energy sphere. In fact, as I was saying right now, there's a buttload of energy. And all of those of you who are mystics, if you're 5D inclined, you are moving into something different. And it ain't talking about humanity or the system in a way of negativity for our future. We do not predict the future. If people only heard their words, law of manifestation, create your intention. Every thought means something. So why are you telling me that tomorrow is going to be full of monsters? Why are you, person who talks to me about incantations in your brain, including the entire human race and systems and groups in your verbiage of nightmarish horror BS movies? That's my point on the 4D collective and how inconsistent and incoherent that is. But you know what an adaptive child is not? They're not a flexible brain. They are a rigid brain because their rigidity is from their attachment wounds, feeling unsafe in their own body. The body doesn't self-regulate in ventral vagal. Straightforward. And in fact, their mind is full of other stuff. I'm not going to go there right now. 5D collective will want to see the future. We love the future. We want to bring to the humanity peace. We want to see it. And heaven is, first of all, in your body. The whole heaven on earth that I have seen and that I was very excited to start seeing with all that the 4D writes about, they repeat the same over and over because they don't know what they're talking about on an individual scale. And I don't laugh because it's funny. I laugh because I don't know how people don't understand how to figure it out with themselves. But that's why I'm going to leave it alone because I have a relationship with my body and my mind. So if I'm inconsistent inside, so if I feel unhappy and my mind thinks something different, I'm like, wait a minute. If I feel happy and my mind thinks something different, I say, be quiet, mind. It's good. We're doing something. It's fine. So there's a way that you will trust yourself when you have a good compass. To have a good compass means you had a beginning that allowed you to feel safe in here and here. So the personality drivers do matter. Self-agency, belonging, certainty. And that affects how your attachment comes through in your personality and stuff like that. So again, there are a lot of beautiful energies about. I am looking to build a 5D mystic and just educator community because we get together and can sit in silence and envision the actual future for what it will be. Like it is now, but better because people learn how to self-regulate, because the systems are going to move into whatever it is we're moving into. We're not going to stay in, oh my gosh, we don't want science, we want spirituality. No, we don't want that system, we want this system. We're going to say, okay, we want things to move in a direction. Our environment gets taken seriously. Our countries, the things that matter get taken up seriously by those who are making decisions. And we stop freaking out. Some people, they just freak out. And those of us who don't freak out, it's because we want to make the world a better place for the entire human race. So join me, lovely 5D mystics and educators, and have a wonderful day.